right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, the great moment that you've waited for, the one and only Elvis Conflicts.
In the 1950s, parents ran into a conflict with the rebellious attitude of rock and roll. Elvis experienced both conflict and compromise, but in the end he compromised by changing his career. His choices reflect an overall change in music that still affects us today. Elvis and his singing and dancing style was considered vulgar by many. Although Elvis got a lot of hate from people over his style of rock and roll, he also had many fans for his special style of rock and roll. Elvis experienced both conflict and compromise, but in the end, he compromised by changing his career. This change that Elvis made still has a big impact on our world. Before Elvis, there wasn't really any music that stuck out as sexual or dirty. The Quartets sung Mr. Sandman and Lollipop in 1954. Frank Sinatra sung
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart.
Tennessee Ford sung 16 Tons in 1955. Before then,
people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load the 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go.
In the 1930s and 40s, songs were about love, God, and other such topics. Songs were often bland and performances inoffensive and unoriginal. It was very different when people like Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bill Haley, Elvis, and other rock and roll singers came onto the scene. They all had some form of controversy with being a new and rebellious form of music. Before 1956, most TV performances of singers were of them standing, possibly moving around. To people like Elvis, swinging his hips was something of a shock for parents across the United States. The closest thing to sexuality they had until Elvis in 1956 was Chuck Berry duck walking on stage. The rock and roll music was considered by many adults to cause juvenile delinquency in teens who dared to listen or even dance to that type of music. When Elvis started doing television appearances in 1956, he started on the Milton Berle Show. On that show, he gave his now infamous hound dog performance. This infamous hound dog performance was considered sexual and dirty, for America and the rest of the world hadn't been exposed to that type of dancing Elvis did on stage. Elvis then went on the Steve Allen Show, where he sung Hound Dog to an actual basset hound, and the dog had a top hat for whatever reason. Elvis later regretted the performance, saying, "It was the most ridiculous appearance I ever did, and I regret doing it." He then went for multiple appearances in the Ed Sullivan Show, where he was very popular on that show. Elvis fought the controversy by changing his career and directly addressing the hate towards him. Elvis, in his singing and dancing style in the 50s, had a major impact on rock and roll music today, and it affected adults and teens in America at the time. Whenever Elvis would go on stage and perform, he would move or shake one of his legs, and all of the girls would scream, shout, and close their eyes. Immediate effect of him dancing were parents disliking him, trying to get him off TV and not letting their kids go to his performances. Ed Sullivan refused to have Elvis's back until Elvis appeared on the Steve Allen Show. A long-term effect is that the entire music scene for a very long time had changed, influencing singers today, like Miley Cyrus in her video Younger Now, where she wears various outfits based or directly mimicking outfits Elvis wore in his lifetime. Elvis also influenced many singers and groups, including the Beatles, Miley Cyrus, Amy Ray, and Eminem, many of which also changed the scene of music in their respective genres of music. In the 1950s, parents ran into a conflict with the rebellious attitude of rock and roll. Elvis experienced both conflict and compromise, but in the end, he compromised by changing his career. His choices reflect an overall change in music that still affect us today. Although Elvis and his unique dancing style is considered vulgar, this helped shape rock and roll today. Elvis opened the way to profiting off of teens and their taste in music and many other things, which many people still do today. In the 1950s, people experienced an economic boom that had not been experienced until then, and many teenagers